Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me again my good friend Jake Jacoby of TELCLOUD. Jake, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Doug. Always a pleasure to be here.
And today we have a special guest, Jen Skinner of Verizon Business. Jen, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So this is another episode of Pots and Shots. We're talking about POTS. We're talking about how POTS is a tremendous opportunity for many different people in the community to go out and make some revenue, but also to do something very important in terms of compliance and other things for their customers. Today, we're going to be talking about what's brewing in the market, fixed wireless access, and the future of connectivity. And Jen, thank you for joining me again. And we'll start with you. Can you start by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your role at Verizon and your work with wireless connectivity program?
Sure. So Jen Skinner, I'm the Associate Director of the Wireless Connectivity Program. I actually run the East Coast for Verizon. I've been there 29 years at Verizon Business, but don't tell anybody that. And I have been working with Jake and other partners in this capacity, in this role, for about 3 years. 3 years ago, we started a program called the Connectivity Partner Program, where we resell our fixed wireless access, or 4G and 5G, out to partners and solution providers who want to use our network to complete their solution for their end customer.
So do I have to have a previous relation with Verizon to get going?
No, we're actually looking for new partners or folks that might not have ever used connectivity in their solution before. We'd love to have them kind of come and approach us, let them come and talk to us about what they're trying to provide to their end customers so that we can work together to bring the best to market.
Well, that's really important because as I've been stressing in some of our podcasts recently, there are lots of people running around out there, a lot of MSPs that really these days are not into telecom. They don't have a telecom background, and yet this opportunity, they're right there in the building, they're right there with the customer. So, Jen, how do fixed wireless access and POTS replacements go hand in hand?
So it was interesting. 3 years ago, when we started the resale for fixed wireless access, we were really looking for MSPs to do primary or backup connectivity, since that's what they were providing to their customers. But then when we started really digging into what were the challenges that people across the country were having, and it was around POTS replacement. Knowing POTS replacement is really a legacy, old copper type of a style, and they know that they have to replace it. But most of what's happening is that it's very costly. It's difficult to replace. Sometimes they require construction. Things are run underneath concrete, or maybe it's in an elevator, and they really didn't know where to go. So working with our teams together and collectively with TELCLOUD, we've been able to provide a simpler and cheaper and more code compliant way to replace that without having to rip up concrete, without having to rip up those types of things. And it's really been a big splash within our programs. So we're excited to talk about it today. We want to make sure that everyone knows that we have a solution, and it's a heck of a lot easier than it was before.
So, Jake, let's bring TELCLOUD into the conversation. From your perspective, why is Verizon such a key partner for driving fixed wireless access alongside POTS replacement?
Yeah, no, great question, Doug. So again, as you know, our solution requires connectivity, right? So a partner like Verizon being the best in class, best in the United States in a global name, it provides connectivity for us because these are life safety lines for the most part, right? So we need something that's really unbreakable. The other aspect of this is we don't just need connectivity, but we're putting in devices at customers' locations. And so instead of just using a little internet connection to power some POTS lines, by partnering and utilizing fixed wireless access with 5G routers, we're now able to meet multiple needs for these customers. So the customers, not only do they need connectivity, like Jen said, right? They need internet, primary internet, backup internet. So with TELCLOUD solution, we can deploy our equipment on premise, deploy a 5G router with Verizon fixed wireless access. So we can go anywhere from very low speeds to very high bandwidth speeds and really provide that entire internet connection in an unbreakable way. Well, Jen also mentioned about wires, right? So there's no wires needed. That's the beauty of this wireless, Verizon Wireless on the business side, is being able to provide this, now with Verizon's new 5G spectrum, they can provide very high speed internet in a reliable way with equipment that we deploy. So it's a great partnership. And so we go out to market and we enable these partners, or TELCLOUD is actually called an enablement partner, where we enable with Verizon connectivity. So there's wireless resellers that sign up with that Verizon program and marry that connectivity with the TELCLOUD solution. And we meet in the channel and go serve the customers.
I think what I'm hearing is that this is also a broad-based opportunity. And it's interesting, Jen, I'm hearing the word enablement and the word partner together. So I'm really curious about understanding that. And Jake, you seem to be going in the same direction, that, we are here to talk about POTS replacement, but this is a door that maybe opens a lot of other things.
Yeah, it was interesting when we started the program. Like I mentioned, we were really fixating on just backup, right? Kind of figuring out who needed backup in a wireless connectivity way out in the marketplace. And when we started going out and discussing this with our partners, we realized that in some cases they needed enablement that Verizon didn't do on their own. We do a phenomenal job at backup and primary and offering 4G and 5G. But we sometimes need a partner like TELCLOUD that can help us with code requirements, right? I mentioned UL certification, things like that for elevator, fire, and security. But what else we realized is that there was a lot of challenges, especially in the healthcare space, faxing for legal. There was a hole in the market that I didn't even realize that we had to help people with enterprise faxing solutions when they couldn't go into a cloud environment. So it really started to open up our eyes and use partners like TELCLOUD to kind of enable our end customers and our resale partners to make sure they had every piece of the pie, so that when they're going to market, they're solving all their customers' needs and they don't have to go anywhere else.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, this relationship has been very good. And, a lot of our reseller partners, again, selfishly, we want them to sell POTS line replacement, but the reality is they're helping their customers with a lot of different problems or uncovering that. So when they're out on site, they're looking at different ways that they can just improve the relationship, improve the service to their customers. So again, having, these different enablement partners in their kind of, bag to be able to bring to their customers has been a really good kind of approach and a great way to kind of go to market.
Yeah, and I think when you mentioned 5G, right, when we first started solving it, you just needed little bits of data in some cases to replace a basic POTS line. But now we're taking a look at it in video for elevators, right? There's new code requirement coming out there, and you need 5G or high-speed 4G in order to fulfill that new requirement that's coming out. So working with Jake, working with the OEMs and with the router manufacturers to make sure that we could supply data speeds across the board, and also making sure that we're uncovering backup or even primary connections while we're out on site. So it's been great to kind of open up that spectrum and help our partners.
That's right.
Well, now comes this is a POTS and Shots podcast. So now comes the Shots, our tour of world-class tequilas with Jake Jacoby. Jake, what do you have for us today?
All right, so this is a special tequila. It's a tequila called Código. That's the brand. So actually, Jen, I sent you a bottle so that you can have it. So we both have the same bottle. Now this is special in a bunch of different ways, but as we talked about, like the Blanco tequila is being aged in different ways, and so what Código has actually done with this is Jen and I have been friends for a very long time, and I know that Jen, this is why I picked this one, is a big fan of big, bold Cabernet wines. You like your wines, and I love having a glass of wine with you. This one is what they've done is Código has taken Napa Cabernet barrels. So the way that they age these Cabernet barrels or Cabernet wine in these oak barrels, and they've taken the tequila and aged the tequila in that Cabernet barrel. So Código Rosa, and so you can see it's got a little bit of a color. It comes from that Cabernet wine. So this is the best for you, Jen, of the best tequila with the best Cabernet wine. And blended together, and we've tasted this together. Again, this is another sipping tequila, but it's a fantastic bottle. So, you had experience with this. What was your thought? What were your thoughts when we shared?
I had the one sip, which was awesome. Not today, but I had a sip, which was really good. And I can't wait until this evening. I called my 75-year-old dad and said, hey, guess what? He's also a very bold cab kind of wino like me.
Nice.
I mentioned that I had this, and we can't wait to try it later. I'm really excited. But it kind of, to me, the time I had it, it gives it a little smoothness with the wine, and it's not as sharp as maybe standard tequilas. Really, really enjoyed it. And so I'm really excited to try it later on.
Good. Thanks, Jen. And again, Codigo, that brand is fantastic, but if you see this, the Rosa is the one that we're talking about. Definitely check it out. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Well, Jen and Jake, I really want to thank you for joining us today. This has really been interesting. It's really good to know how this is an expanding opportunity for the community. Jen, I want to thank you for being a special guest today. Where can we learn more about Verizon Business?
So we do have a website, I think, that we've posted up here. So the Verizon Connectivity Partner Network. So we would love to have you reach out. We would love to talk to you about our program and especially POTS and reselling 4G and 5G. Thank you so much for having me.
And forgive me for adding this. I'm going to repeat for our listeners. You don't have to previously be connected to Verizon to get going.
Oh, 100%. We would love to talk to maybe providers that have never even thought of adding connectivity to what they're selling. Right now, we were just talking about, even platforms like this. If you don't have internet, it doesn't really go very far. We would love to talk about everyone and how connectivity can improve what you're doing and bringing to your customers.
And Jake, as always, thank you very much for this and also the lovely tequila setup too. Where can we learn more about TELCLOUD and POTS replacement?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. TELCLOUD.com as always, or you can give us a call at 844-900-2270. Again, so much. Thank you so much, Jen, for showing up and helping us kind of promote this and enjoy the tequila. So
thank you. Thank you for your partnership.
Of course. Thanks.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, guys, for a great podcast. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.